For 27 years, I was the invisible child. No birthday calls, no holiday invitations, just silence. They didn't hate me. They simply forgot I existed. Until the day my grandfather died and left me everything. Suddenly, every phone in the family was dialing my number, and I let them talk. I let them smile. I let them believe, because I had already made my decision, and none of them were going to like it. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that in my family, I was always the afterthought. My older brother was the star, sports trophies, college scholarships, the golden child who could do no wrong. My sister was the baby, pampered, protected, adored. And me, I was the middle child who learned very early that the quietest person in the room gets forgotten the fastest. I moved out at 19, not because I wanted to, because nobody asked me to stay. I built my life from scratch. Small apartment, 2 jobs, ramen noodles for dinner, more nights than I can count. I called home on holidays. Sometimes they picked up, mostly they didn't. My grandfather was the only one who saw me. Every Sunday he would call, not to ask how I was doing, but what I was thinking about, what I was dreaming about. He was the only person in my entire family who treated me like I had a future worth talking about. When he got sick, I drove 6 hours every single weekend to sit with him. My brother visited once. My sister sent a card. My parents were too busy, but I was there. Every weekend, holding his hand, listening to his stories, saying goodbye, slowly, the way you do when you love someone and you know time is running out. And then something happened that none of us saw coming. Something that would change every single relationship in my family forever. He passed on a quiet Tuesday morning. I got the call at work, and I cried in the parking lot for 20 minutes before I could drive. The funeral was the first time I had seen my full family in 4 years. My mother hugged me like we spoke every week. My brother slapped me on the back and said, "Good to see you, man," like we were old friends catching up. My sister cried beautifully, the way people do when they want to be noticed grieving. Nobody mentioned the 6-hour drives. Nobody mentioned the Sundays. Nobody said a single word about who had actually been there. Then the lawyer called. My grandfather had left a will, and he had left almost everything, the house, the savings, the land, to me, specifically, personally, to me, with a letter attached that said simply, "You were the only one who showed up. This is what showing up looks like." Within 48 hours, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. My mother called, crying. My brother texted long messages about family unity. My sister sent 3 voice messages saying she just wanted to talk. For the first time in my life, I was the most popular person in my family. And I want you to understand what happened inside me in that moment. It wasn't anger. It wasn't satisfaction. It was something colder than both of those things. It was clarity. Stay with me, because what I did next, nobody in that family expected. I let them talk for 2 full weeks. I took every call. I listened to every guilt trip, every memory they suddenly had about how close we always were. I took notes. Then I called a family meeting at the house. They all came. Of course they came. My mother wore her best dress. My brother brought his wife. My sister came with flowers like this was a celebration. I sat them all down. I thanked them for coming. And then I said the following words, very slowly, very clearly. I have decided what I am going to do with everything grandfather left me. I am keeping the house. I am keeping the savings. I am keeping the land. And I am donating 30% of the estate to the children's hospital that grandfather volunteered at for 15 years. The one none of you knew existed, because none of you ever asked him what he cared about. My brother started to speak. I held up one hand. The will is ironclad. There is nothing to contest. And after today, I will not be taking calls about this matter from anyone in this room. My mother said I was being cruel. My brother said I had changed. My sister cried differently. This time, I stood up, thanked them again for coming, and held the door open. They left. And for the first time in 27 years, standing alone in my grandfather's house, I felt completely, entirely at peace. Karma doesn't always come fast. Sometimes it takes 27 years, but it always arrives. If this story hit you somewhere real, subscribe to Karma Tales Anon. Every week we bring you stories of betrayal, silence, and the most satisfying justice you will ever hear. Hit the bell so you never miss a dark tale. And tell me in the comments, was the revenge fair, or did they deserve even more?